Hi everyone and welcome to Inspiration and Information with Sneha, a community where we empower and inspire each other. Popularly known as Professor Ulfat Sultan, a radio jockey for over a decade, professional MC, Big Boss Kannada participant, an enthusiastic gamer and comedian for 15 years, hosting popular celebrity shows in India and internationally, MJ Rakesh has played a significant role in them all. After successfully hosting IPL for the past 12 years, the Youth Icon awardee by Government of Karnataka is currently in Dubai hosting IPL season 14. Join this inspiring conversation to know what did it take for him to become the successful guy he is. This conversation could be the moment that will push you to take action towards your dreams. I will see you in the inside. Welcome, Rakesh. Thank you so much for doing this. There are so many of us who really need to know your story to inspire us to take action. So, thank you for being here.
I don't really know if my story is going to inspire anyone, but nevertheless, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much, Sneha. And like I always do, every time there is a caller with the name Sneha that comes onto my radio show, I start the introduction with Sneha. Preeti Nannu Siru. It's a very popular Kannada song. So that's how I welcome them. Hi, Sneha. Yes, hello.
Hi, that was lovely. As usual, your aura full of energy. I really like that. So,
Go ahead, tell me.
we have been college mates. The reason I'm mentioning this is I wanted to know every time in college there was an event or fest, we knew that Rakesh was a part of it. He was hosting it. You had that power to attract the crowd. I want to know, were you always clear that this is what you want to do, or did it happen naturally in your life?
See, I wouldn't say naturally for sure because I was constantly in the quest to do something which was entertaining. It was also never about people or trying to get the audience or trying to be in the spotlight. It was never any of that. I just purely knew that I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a content generator or probably a creator. Now content creator sounds like a very fancy word, in fact even is like a stream of profession or a job that people follow. But back in those days, I really was a person who wanted to create content. I was a person who wanted to be a part of creating entertainment, and that eventually led me to stage, radio, television, because those are the mediums through which entertainment is emitted, right? So that's
Right,
how it was
right.
for me. It was as basic as wanting to just create entertainment and wanting to create content. That's it.
That's brilliant, really. And also why I was asking you this is a lot of people at that time, especially, did not consider RJing or MCing or getting into events as a profession. So it must have been challenging for you. I'm assuming, was it like?
Sneha, forget considering. It was not even considered as a job profile or probably a career option in those days. And those I still remember when I would go back home to say that I'm doing this, or probably RJing and being an MCing is what I'm probably wanting to do for the rest of my life. I would get things like, huh? क्या इसके लिए पैसे मिलते हैं, बात करने के लिए, हंसने के लिए पैसे मिलते हैं, जोक मारने के लिए पैसे मिलते हैं. That's how it used to be considered. Some people used to even question me again. I'm sure a lot of people with unconventional jobs come up with these questions even now. Okay, you're an RJ, you're an MC, but what do you do for work?
Right,
That's how they
right.
used to ask. That's how it used to be looked upon. That's how it used to be considered. So now, at least, thankfully, with a lot of people getting into the industry, making it big, and actually showing what value they can create and the value they can create for themselves, has now become like a career option, has now become like something that people want to follow. So that's how it was for me back then. I come from the old school times where it was not even considered like a job option or a career opportunity. So thankfully, yeah, a couple of us or probably people in the industry have broken that myth and have proved it that this again can be an interesting career option.
Yeah, very true. I agree completely. And there I'm sure, like, see, I have known you. Your jokes are so instant, and the way you just sweep the crowd. I want to understand, how do you do it? Like, it must be coming spontaneously to you, I'm sure. But still, like for me, I'm starting off, and when I am facing crowd, I do sometimes have the fear of being judged. So how did you deal with that? Did you ever feel that way when you're in the spotlight?
See, I'll answer first part of your question. Firstly, I don't tell jokes. I don't write jokes. I don't do jokes. I just probably would say I just try to be. I just try to look at things in a funny way. That's all. Or not even a funny way. I would just say I just look at things in the way I look at things, and that probably when I speak about happens to be funny. That's about it. And I've also learned one more thing, that unless you learn to laugh at yourself, you cannot laugh with the world out there, or you can't make the world laugh with you. So I try to consciously make an attempt to make sure I figure out what are those flaws, those things that probably are lacking in me, those things that are the drawbacks that are there in me, and try to look at it in a funny way, in a lighthearted way. And that eventually turns out to be like a joke. It turns out to be like comic piece. It turns out to be like a material that can go out. That's how it's looked up. And secondly, in terms of challenges of being judged on the stage, see, I don't really, I think I've reached a point where I can boldly say I don't really care if I'm getting judged. All right. uh, for various reasons, and time and again I have chosen paths which will very clearly judge, which very strongly will judge me, where people are judging me on those spaces. But I choose not to care about it, because the moment you start worrying about what people think of you, you are definitely not going to be what you want to be. You constantly will try to be what people want you to be. And remember one thing, opinions of people keep changing. So why should you change along with that? That means you're constantly going to be changing. You're never going to be what you want to be. So that should be the first thing I think for any person who wants to be in a on a stage like this, or in a space like this, to stop thinking about how people think of you. Think about how you want to think about yourself. And I think there's enough and more thinking that is left for you to do about yourself than worry about what other people have to think about you. Yeah. So I don't never really cared. Never really cared about that.
Lovely. I think I should also start focusing on that. And how did this Professor Ulfat Sultan happen? Because you are looking absolutely handsome right now, and I mean the same guy who looks like this. So how come he transitioned into on radio, Professor Ulfat Sultan? Tell us a bit about that.
I wanted to be an entertainer, wanted to create entertainment irrespective of the medium, stage, TV, radio, internet, whatever. I wanted to create content. So Sultan is a result of that. Okay. When I was in the radio, which I still am, when I was on the radio, I would hear a lot of other radio stations, and I would hear a lot of these characters. There used to be something called as Babbar Sheikh. There used to be something in Malayalam called Lola Kutti. There used to be something related to Rajnikant, which was in Tamil. But there wasn't something that was so these were all very universal, right? Kerala, a funny Malayali speaking character on the radio is quite universal. Everybody in the country would know it. Rajni sir on radio, everybody would know it, right? So a shero shairi that happens on the radio, it's universal. I wanted to create something which was very local, hardcore, deeply rooted to the city. And then I thought of this character called Professor Ulfat Sultan, which again, if you notice, you walk down any streets of Bangalore, okay, any street of Bangalore, you'll notice that someone or the other speaks in this language. This language does not have a source. It is just something that has just evolved. Someone like your mechanic, or probably your dudwala, your panwala, or someone or the other on the street, like your auto guys, will speak this language, kyama, chodana, like that.
Yeah.
So that is where I thought, okay, this language is so prevalent. Not even a language, maybe these slangs are so prevalent. Why don't I try to put together a script out of it? And that's when a little bit of creative thinking process happened, and try to put it together in the form of a character who'd come and teach these words to the city, because everybody knows it, but nobody is talking about it or teaching. And that's when the character came up. I must say, initially, when the character, I created about 3-4 scripts of it, and I presented it to my boss. Then it was immediately rejected, saying that this cannot go on air because it could hurt the sentiments of the people who follow this language or probably come from this community, right? It could get a little controversial and all of it. But luckily, I don't know, for me, that boss quit after a couple of months, and I squeezed this on air. And after that, it's been history. It went on the radio for about a decade. It could have gone for more had I not quit that company and joined some other company. But yeah, I had to let go of the rights. I had to let them keep the rights with themselves. And Sultan went on for about a decade with some 278 scripts. I don't claim. Industry says that it happens to be the longest standing humor character on Indian radio. I don't claim. The industry says it.
That is great. I think here there's a lesson for all of us to learn that even if others do not believe in your idea, I think we should continue believing in ourselves and just go for it no matter what. I would like to know, Rakesh, see this Big Boss, I've seen you in Big Boss Canada. And
Yeah.
it looks so fancy, and I really have wondered how do people actually live in there for so long? How was your experience there? Was there any kind of learning? Did your life change after Big Boss Canada? How was it?
There's so see the moment you say Big Boss, no, there are so many bells that ring in my head. First up, yes, of course, I had a tough time. I struggled right throughout. Probably that struggle of mine is what made me stay there for 95 days. Yes, of course, the votes of the people, but I still stayed there for about 95 days. I lasted till the finale. It was a struggle. Point number one. Point number two, I would say, if I have to explain what Big Boss stands for in a lifetime, no, in a lifetime, all of us as human beings go through so many things, right?
Right.
About a lifetime, you will go through extreme anger, extreme sadness, extreme love, extreme hate, extreme emotions, extreme whatever career, extreme success in your career, extreme downfall in your career. You'll go through all of that, right? In your entire lifetime, about 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever years. If all that is crunched and squeezed into a 98 days package, like a crash course, and you have to go through all these extreme emotions in that period of time, that is Big Boss. And that's what I went through. Whatever I would probably go through in my entire lifetime in terms of extremity of each of these emotions, I went through that in just a 95 days period inside that house. And boy, when you're going through, as human beings, we're not programmed to take so many emotions at such peak level, at at such fast pace, right? Because it's spread out across a life. When you take it in that, when it comes to you that way, you are going to react in ways that you didn't even know that you would react, and that's what you see on Big Boss, right?
Right.
That's what it was. So
With
that's
the
how Big Boss.
cameras focusing on you 24/7,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it was really you played well, and it was an achievement in itself. Lasting till the finale is not a joke.
Thank you.
So the kind of successful person you've been, I'm sure there is somebody who's been a great influence in your life. So would you like to share a bit about who is that driving force in your life?
See, firstly, you know what? I don't subscribe to this entire concept of successful. Yeah, I'm sorry. It
You're
might
so
sound
humble.
very. No, no. I'm being honest. I'll tell you why. I don't know. See, so you're trying to obviously. Again, it could get a little deep. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry to whoever is listening. It could just get deep because you've asked me. I'm trying to break it down. I don't really subscribe to the concept of successful or competition or any of that sort, purely because that's always based on someone else's standard. That's
Right.
always based on someone creating a benchmark and you're trying to meet that. I do not really want that. I don't want to. Why? See, indirectly, what happens is when you're competing with someone or when you're chasing success to reach somewhere, what is success? Success is again a benchmark that's been created by somebody, and you want to touch that so that you feel successful, right? I
Right.
don't want to create that for myself in the first place. I would just want it to be limitless. I would want to go as far as I can. Maybe my limit is here, maybe my limit is there. I don't want to kind of, put a limit to that. One. Two, when you're trying to compete with somebody, you're somewhere indirectly wanting that person to not do as good as you,
Right.
which
Right.
is not a good thing, right? Which is not a good thing. Maybe you're not directly wanting that. Maybe you want to do better than that person, but somewhere deep down, indirectly, you're not wanting that person to do better than you. Why? That's such a wrong. That's such a
Mentality.
wrong virtue, or it's a wrong virtue, is what I would say. That's something that doesn't go well with my in my books. So successful is something that I rule it off completely. Competition is something that I don't even subscribe to, and I just live it like a journey. Yeah, whatever comes my way comes my way. Doesn't come my way doesn't. As far as I'm happy creating what I'm creating, and I'm getting a kick out of it, and I can see people respond to that, and I can create. I can be a reason for someone's happiness. I just would love that. I would just love that. There's nothing more to success and awards, and I just don't relate to that. I just don't relate to that. So much so, even till date, I never sit for my appraisals in my company because I tell my bosses, you know what I've done. You give me what you think I deserve to get based on your corporate laws. I don't really need to sit and fight for it that I've done this. Give me more. No, I would never do that. Yeah.
How lovely. What a What an amazing perspective. I think it will be so great if all of us can really think that way. Life will become much easier.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to.
Having said that, a lot of people could also debate this by saying that, he probably does not have responsibilities, probably he does not have bills to pay, probably he's coming from a very well-off background, he does not really have dependents. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, everything of what you probably would think about me right now is totally opposite. Yes, I do have about 6 dependents. Okay, and I love taking care of them. Not that I'm calling them dependents. I love taking care of them. Yes, I have gone through the drills of the entire struggle of building 2 careers, one on the radio and one as an MC. It didn't come easy to me. I had to work it out brick by brick. Didn't really have godfathers or people who I get inspired by, or none of that. I had to do it all by myself. And not that I come from a wealthy background, and must tell you, come from times where I really had to struggle for food, to put food on the table for the family, right? So it has been that way. And nothing really stopped me from chasing what I believed in, and at the same time never really chased money. Yeah, I would just say, when you chase good work and passion, money will naturally come your way. It sounds very textbookish, might sound very philosophical,
But
but
it's
it has worked for me. And I've never really chased any of these. I've just wanted to do good work, and I wanted to enjoy doing what I'm doing, and these things followed.
amazing.
Thankfully they pay my bills. Thankfully they pay my bills. At least I know I have sufficient to survive. That's enough, and I'm happy with that.
That's lovely. Thanks for sharing this. Yeah, in fact, right now, since I'm starting off as a coach, as a motivational speaker, sometimes it gets difficult to really practice your philosophy. But I'm seeing somebody who's actually practicing what he preaches. So it's really been a great conversation. And I want to conclude with this. Every season, IPL, when they say it's IPL, I don't know, automatically you are the one who hosts IPL. So, what is it that practice that you follow, that you're manifesting this again and again in your life? Do you enjoy doing it? How is the journey there?
Sneha, I'm not manifesting anything. I'm telling you, I'm just doing what I think I want. I'm just doing work. Okay, I love doing what I'm doing. So over a period of time, as I was hosting events as an MC, um, I started to do bigger events, or events that started having larger crowds. And over a period of time, event managers saw that I could hold larger crowds well, as well as the smaller number of crowds. So I just thrive in a space which has big stage, big sound, big lights, big audience. Okay, so over a period of time, so maybe you can call, that's the only way of that's only been my growth. Okay, from hosting smaller events, for me, even till date, no event is smaller. As I'm talking to you, I just finished off an event. That's why we delayed a bit. I just finished off an event which had some 60 people at the event, and I was doing an engagement for them right here from my hotel room in Dubai. I was doing that. For me, no event is small. I would do it with equal amount of vigor, passion, and interest as much as I would do an IPL match. So over a period of time, as I've been doing these events and giving my 100% to each, event managers have noticed that I can handle larger crowds well, right? And you need a specific kind of energy. You need good, I would say, not specific, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of your presence of mind to handle
True.
large crowds and big space and big stages. So they found me worthy enough to handle that and handle it well, and that's why I've always been put up on that big stage. So I would just say there's nothing that I'm manifesting. It's purely a labor of my love.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've been.
Passion, hard work, I would say,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice. And what is that one message you want to give to all those who are watching you right now?
Um, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Message in terms of what? In terms of I don't know, because I don't really like telling people what to do. I think we're all blessed with the same amount of gray cells. We can figure out what we can do. It's just about using them. Some people don't use it. Some people use it. So I would rather try to push people to start using as much as gray cells you'll have, so that you can also do what you want to do. That's probably my message. And I would say, in terms of life, no, generally, everyone out there is fighting a battle. Yeah. I would say be kind to each other, because everyone out there is fighting a battle. And always remember, if you come to terms with this one fact, that there will always be another mountain to climb.
Yeah.
For us, no, for everybody, I'm sure whoever is listening right now, you, me, all of us, we know that, oh, such a life is such a mountain to climb. Right now, this phase I'm going through is so difficult, it's so tough, I'm dealing with a lot. All that can always come into everybody's minds, right? That usually does. We've become like that as human beings, where we think that, oh, the suffering is getting too much, the adversities are so much, how do we get through all of this right now? It's a tough phase I'm going through. Accept one thing for a fact, that this is something that's always going to be there. Sorry if I'm sounding negative or pessimistic,
Not
but
at all, yeah.
accept a fact that yes, there's always, the moment you clear this phase, there's always going to be another phase for you to climb, another phase for you to get through. So accept the fact that there's always going to be another mountain to climb. Then what will happen is, the mountain that you're currently climbing, you'll just start coming to terms with it, saying that, I know I have to do this. Let me just get through it, because I have another one waiting. So in the process, you'll start looking at life differently, maybe, and maybe get through things easy.
Thank you for sharing this message, because yeah, a lot of us really want to hear this, especially there's so much going on these days with the pandemic, etc. So I think this message totally makes sense. Thank you. And I really want to thank you for your time, Rakesh. God bless you with loads of success, best of health. Thank you for agreeing to do this once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sneha. Thank you so much for considering me worthy to be spoken to about my life.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thanks. I'm really grateful. And I'd also like to tell everybody who's listening to us, if you would like to connect with Rakesh, I have mentioned his social media handles, the links to his social media handles in the description box. Do connect with him, do follow him. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing association. So thank you once again, Rakesh, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.